Hey y'all, how's it hanging? Rich here and welcome back to Rich Aesthetic. This is an aesthetic tips episode covering my take on some good uses for focus modes and also a response to this Wall Street Journal article claiming that notifications are just too difficult to deal with. So let's jump into this. Alright, so I'm sure anyone who's used Do Not Disturb has wished at some point they could choose what people and what apps to let through. After all, anytime we use Do Not Disturb, it's usually for a different reason, and that changes who and what we are available for. So that's essentially what focus modes let us do. They allow us to customize Do Not Disturb in great depth. So I'm going to go over my two most used ones and then also go over a couple special use cases just to share my thinking on how else you might be able to use them. First though, if you haven't noticed, I do put chapter markers in pretty much all my videos, so go ahead and browse those and choose the ones you want to watch. Alright, so by far my most used focus mode is personal. Now, I know that's not the most original, but I'm pretty much always in the personal focus. And that allows me to customize the notifications without having to worry about my phone's defaults being affected. And that in turn lets me reset the focus mode to whatever I want whenever I would want to change it, or just go back to a blank slate. Alright, so I'm gonna do this real smooth transition. Alright, so you should be seeing my phone up here next to me. Okay, so here in the settings, since my personal focus is the one that I'm usually on, I don't share the focus status. Plus, the focus status in its current state is pretty redundant. It just says that you have notifications silenced. So for Apple, if you ever catch word of this, I'd really hope that maybe in iOS 15 dot update or even iOS 16, you can change that to say someone has their notifications silenced for work, or because they're driving, or because they're filming a YouTube video, or whatever else people are setting their focuses to. Next, since my home screen is tuned to what I want to see when I'm in a specific focus, I have my badges on, because if I have a badge, it's probably something that I want to interact with or spend my time on. So let's do a quick peek at my home screen. As you can see, I have it outfitted with music and a podcasts widget up top. I pretty much always have something playing, so these allow me to quickly access something I've recently been listening to and also jump into the app. Now in the center, I've got another medium stack. This time it's got a photos widget for those nice occasional memories and photos of the day, stuff like that. Then my focus control shortcuts, and then my batteries, and finally some HomeKit controls from this really cool app called Home Widget, which I really can't believe Apple doesn't already make sure that they have widgets for all of their apps across the board, but fine. Like I said, Home Widget, which link down in the description, is here to help Apple out with this impossible task, I guess. Finally, I have one row of apps down here, and that is Winnow for quick, non-triggering news, Tweetbot, my Twitter client of choice, Apollo, my Reddit client of choice, and then Reader, my RSS feed client of choice. I swear, third-party developers are the shit. Alright, so back to my focus settings. I have my lock screen settings untouched, which again, this is my default status, so I pretty much want to see those notifications that I get. Alright, and now for the most important settings down here. The allowed notifications. I'm very diligent with updating my notification settings for all my apps, so the way that I have this set is usually pretty much up to date. In my personal focus, I have pretty much all the social media, entertainment, messaging, and food shopping apps on, because again, this is my default status, and this will drastically change in the next focus. Really hoping that they have some kind of API for focus, not just the focus status, because I'd like to choose contacts from other apps such as Snapchat or WeChat, Facebook Messenger, things like that, to also be allowed to get through. I know they have the time-sensitive notifications option, and I guess maybe that fixes this, but I just would feel more comfortable being able to select a specific person from those other apps. Alright, so that's my personal headspace I've let you in on. Let's jump over to my work focus. Having a work focus mode is for those of you who may, like the Wall Street article said, feel that notifications are burdensome and take away from your productivity. Don't be on an alert overload. Focus modes give you more complete control over what dings take your attention away. No, none of that. Take a look at my work focus, for example. I allow my family, girlfriend, and boss, coworkers, of course, to get through here on the people section. And then the app section, I obviously only have the apps that I use for work, such as Mail, Microsoft Office, Outlook, Calendar, To-Do List Manager, Task Manager, whatever you want to call it. Those can get through to me. So this weekend, or whenever you have time, take about 30 minutes to go through those people, your contacts, and then the apps that you want notifications from, and set up a work focus. Don't be like Kelly Mays, who in the article said that notifications drive her insane. We have the toolbox to deal with this. Alright, let me jump into my work focus settings. So this time I do share the status. I have notification silence because I feel it's important that people know that I have notification silence because I'm at work. Again, they don't know I'm at work, but hopefully that changes. Then, taking a look at my home screen, up top I just have a work calendar. It shows me what classroom I'm supposed to be at next and the time and all that. Additionally, under the work calendar, I do have the Maps app because sometimes I do have to go downtown to headquarters. That's usually at the beginning and end of the semesters to do admin, training, and things like that. So if I have an event with the downtown office in the calendar event location, then it'll usually pretty much at the time of me needing to leave, it should show me my Maps widget, and then I'll just tap and be on my way to get downtown. Alright, and finally under the map stack, I have my work email inbox, just so I can see that. I don't get a lot of emails, but when I do, that'll be there, and I can quickly take a look at who needs me, which is usually no one. In the center, I have another medium widget stack, this time with 2 widgets. The first one being this little shortcuts. Well, they're both shortcuts, but the first one is being my work-specific shortcuts. So I have this IPA alphabet shortcut for when I'm looking for the IPA spelling of words to help with teaching pronunciation, because my IPA is not that great. And then underneath that, I have another shortcuts widget, like I said, and this is just another focus control widget. Alright, and then finally here on the bottom 2 rows, I have this small things widget set to my work area so I can see what tasks I need to get done for, well, you guessed it, work. And next to that, I have Microsoft Office, Outlook, and Teams, and then also WeChat because here in China, unfortunately, there's no divide between your personal space and your workspace. So for all my work communications, I usually have to use WeChat too, so yeah. Alright, now let's jump back into the settings. As you can see here for the lock screen, I do have the lock screen dimmed. That way I'm not seeing anything except for the notifications that are usually calendar, email, or work message related. And I don't want to see the hidden notifications, so I do have those completely silenced so that I don't see them when I look at my lock screen. And I think you guys should probably do that too. It's a pretty helpful feature. Alright, and then here at the bottom of the work focus, you can see all these schedules. These are all just set for the different blocks of time when I'm teaching, as well as a couple location triggers, because sometimes I am at the campus doing something for work, but not during, my regular teaching time. And also I have a location for that downtown office I was talking about, so the work focus just turns on automatically when I arrive at either. If you see this, big thanks for watching, and maybe you could tap that like button and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Alright, finally, time for some of my special use cases. So I've got this other focus called YouTubing. I'm not going to go crazy in depth for this. Basically, I have YouTubing on while filming because you guessed it, I probably don't want any dings or anything because I am, with my iPad right here, phone's right around the corner, MacBook. So it just sets everything to silence, no volume, so then I don't have to worry about any distractions while I'm filming and ruining that sweet, sweet audio. Also, it changes my home screen to just my productivity apps to just kind of keep me in that headspace so I'm not seeing anything from Twitter, Apollo, and other apps like that. Of course, if you want to see an in-depth on this focus, just leave it down in the comments below and I'll consider making a follow-up video with some of these other focus modes. Now, another focus mode I have, because I'm anal about finance, trying to, set up a little empire for myself, this one is my finance mode. I do my finances pretty much weekly, if not daily. So when I do that, I don't want any distractions either. So if you can guess from the theme of my other focus modes, yes, I do have the special homepage. Basically, it just shows me my finance apps and finance app menus. So on the page, got a quick view of how my portfolio performance is and stock performance is from various apps like Acorns and Robinhood and Coinbase and whatever not. All this e-banking stuff, right? Online banking apps. And those app menus I were talking about basically just show me a list of either my banking or my crypto apps in a list, so I can jump straight to those without going to the app library and possibly being distracted by some other beautiful app icons. Now finally, I do have a gaming focus. Mostly that's just to have an excuse to use this beautiful Game Center widget, which does let you jump into some recently recently played games. Now on one of my wish lists for probably, I guess, iOS 16 would be getting access to those kind of like smart folders from the app library, because I could definitely see that being pretty much a small widget that you can throw on the home screen and then be able to jump straight into one of those categories instead of having to go to the app library and then scrolling down to get to your games, for example. Well, we made it to the end. As always, let me know if you have any questions about anything I mentioned in the video down in the comments below. And if I haven't said this already, thank you for watching, and if you made it this far, big thumbs up for you, and possibly maybe a thumbs up for me too. Please share this video with your friends, and maybe consider subscribing. Rich Aesthetic out.